What up, guys? Mad Viking here. It's been a couple days. I didn't do a live reactions video to Hell in the Cell because I didn't watch Hell in the Cell. It was a busy Sunday afternoon for me. I had football, amongst other things to do, and sitting down watching a 4-hour pay-per-view that I wasn't exactly thrilled about. Didn't really entice me any. And I've heard it kind of sucked anyway. So, sorry for that. If anybody was looking for that video, nobody hit me up about it, so I don't think anybody's sweating bullets that I didn't make that video. But this is a news vlog video. Some of the stuff's kind of old. Should have done this at least a week or so ago. But I'm just sitting here tonight on my day off, kind of bored. So I figured, what the hey? Even though I probably should be doing an unboxing video or something, but whatever. All right. Well, we know it. Hell in the Cell. I don't know. I haven't added up the rest of these days, but it has to be well over 300 days by now. Because when I wrote this down, it said AJ Styles had beaten JBL's WWF Championship reign on SmackDown, which was a 13-year record. Then it was 281 days. So let's add on a couple more weeks. Obviously, he's in a 300-day reign now, probably plus. I was kind of shocked he didn't lose at Hell in the Cell. But what can you do? I'm not mad or upset. Like I said, I like both guys, but I was kind of hoping Joe pulled it out. Sin Cara, for anybody wondering where he's been. He underwent knee surgery recently. He's expected to be out 5 to 6 months. At worst, 8 months out. Mysterio pulls out of Indie tour date to WWE obligation. He's still yet to appear since All In. That was rumored to be his last indie appearance. So I don't know what this would have been, but it was reported. What else? Come on, cat. You're on my stuff. Hang on. My cat's making an appearance. Let's see. Justin Credible recently arrested for violating a protective order in Connecticut on a $7,500 bond against his wife. He was recently supposedly supposed to be clean and sober. Who knows what this arrest was about? Maybe he wasn't quite so when he got arrested. But I always like Justin Credible. It's always a shame when you hear about stuff like this. Let me see, because this is still relatable. Lesnar sets a milestone as champion at 506 days, and that was at SummerSlam. Yeah, so that's when it ended. It was the 6th longest reign in WWE history. Part of his reign, he surpassed CM Punk's reign. Remember Elias's New York concert that he was supposed to have at some venue? That was canceled for low ticket sales. I really didn't think that was going to happen anyway. I mean, he's supposed to have music on... Knock it off! He's supposed to have music on Spotify, but I don't care. I wasn't going to look it up. Yeah, well, this is prevalent. Matt Hardy was taking time off, possibly becoming a backstage producer. Since then, he did partake in a couple of events. One of them was SummerSlam. He did go on to keep wrestling his obligations for the WWE, and this week he wrestled his last obligation at a Corpus Christi show, where afterwards he announced, out of character, that he is retiring, but he says never say never. I mean, the guy's spine and pelvis are fusing together, and he has kind of put on weight, so he's obviously having problems in the ring and rehabbing. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen here. Supposedly he's going to be made an agent, backstage producer. We'll see. Because the WWE recently did that with Jason Jordan as well. So that would make me think that, you know, they've had to have fired some people to make these positions available. Yeah. Mentioning Jason Jordan, he is retired and has a backstage producer job. NWO is back. According to Hogan, he's done many videos which have angered the WWE. Hall and Nash were in one video that he aired claiming to have reformed the NWO. Hall Nash aided or was at a ringside event on an indie show with X-Pac, and X-Pac was in DX and NWO gear. Eric Bischoff showed up, and they added, I would say, an honorary member, because I don't even know who the guy is. Eric Cannon, the newest member to the NWO, that's what they said, in 17 years. Pac mentions he's been wrestling 30 plus years, and I watched the video. It was kind of funny. Hall tweaked in behind him. Yeah, you can hang it up any day now, Pac, and everybody laughed. So, like I said, take that with a grain of salt that there's a new member. But I have heard the NWO was supposed to be coming back in some form or fashion in the WWE, and there's supposed to be heat on Hogan, because obviously Hogan is trying to position for a job, I'm sure, acting like he's back. Oh, and they would annihilate the Shield if they came back. Come on. Hall is gimpy. Nash is probably in the best shape out of all of them, and he's gimpy. I mean, Hogan, you're trying too hard. Alex Shelley announces a possible retirement after 6 years of ring career. He said after 3 times of having his teeth knocked out, he wishes that Sabin continues on in single success and chases the Ring of Honor title, which would bring honor to him as well if he won it. I think it was serious. I don't think it was a bit or a storyline, because he hasn't been back on Ring of Honor TV since he made this announcement, and this was a while ago. It's kind of sad because Shelley's a young dude. Injuries and medical bills, they all add up, and I'm sure he was being paid decently in Ring of Honor. I don't know if he wrestles anywhere else, but I mean, Daniel Bryan was going to hang it up at one point, and then the WWE finally called him and picked him up when he was announcing his retirement, and that was years ago. So I do feel bad for Alex Shelley if he has to hang it up for financial issues. Oh, I saw this on TV. Kelly Klein got half of her front tooth knocked out by Jennifer Rose with an elbow, and that was on Ring of Honor TV. That was pretty brutal. Jeff Cobb makes his Ring of Honor debut, the former Olympian. This was a guy that the WWE was also making a play for, which I find very interesting, that he chose to go with Ring of Honor, which means he'll probably end up in New Japan too. He was wrestling in, the Pro Wrestling Guerrilla Tournament. I can't think of the name right now, the Fight for Los Angeles or something, which was being scouted by William Regal. I'm wondering if Regal confronted Jeff Cobb or offered him any sort of a deal. If you don't know who Jeff Cobb is, he's let's just say he looks like Keith Lee, except more agile. EC3 suffered a concussion at TakeOver. See, I told you this one's old. Rumored to the main roster soon, along with Shayna Baszler. Gargano suffered knee injury at TakeOver, which I read recently that was just a storyline. Villano number 3 dies at the age of 63. And for anybody who has the question in their head, no, he is not one of the Villanos that was on WCW TV back in the day. That was his sons. Another recent death, Yoshi Kwan. And I know you're probably like, who the hell is Yoshi Kwan? He actually was a fairly big name back in the day in WCW. This was, of course, before the Monday Night Wars. He was big in USWA. He was a part of a tag team. Gosh, the New Breed, I think it was called. New Breed. He feuded a lot with Lawler back in the day. But Yoshi Kwan, look up his stuff on YouTube. He was so above the wrestling quota, status quo for his time in WCW. I think he was even really before Keichimoto. Am I saying his name right? How old was he? He died at 57. All right. But like I said, look up this guy on YouTube. It's well worth the look. He definitely had a look and a gimmick that was well before his time. He deserved a bigger place in the history of wrestling than what he got. And I guarantee you, nobody, as I say his name, even knows who he is. AJ Lee offered a spot on Evolution, even a contract back into the WWE. No word on that. I guarantee you she ain't coming. Neville was finally released by the WWE. He was hinted to be at All In. He wasn't there. Roman is the #1 merch seller in the WWE. This is a couple weeks old, maybe. Some people don't believe it. Well, you got to remember John Cena hasn't been around. He's not on TV. Kiddies aren't asking their parents to buy his crap. And Roman Reigns, part of the reason that it's been explained, he's got a shit ton of merchandise. Even if you don't go there and buy his shirt, kids are still getting his... They even sell vests now. I saw somebody at my last NXT show, a grown-ass man wearing a Roman Reigns vest. They're selling that. I mean, he's got a lot of merch, so it shouldn't be surprising. Man on Twitter claims he snuck a gun into Raw. This is a week or two old. And he was going to kill himself at a Raw taping. That was Jason the Sensation. It took me a little while to remember who this guy was because the Twitter photos were not helping any. He was the guy that was Owen Hart in the DX Nation of Domination parodies. But before that, he was a comedian on Raw who basically dedicated his life to imitating the voices of wrestlers. He did a spot on Bret, Owen, Undertaker, HBK. You can find his videos on YouTube. He basically was arrested and thrown into a mental facility after that. Toni Storm, yeah, she was injured at the UK NXT tapings versus Rip Riley to miss shows with WXW Progress and has to drop her title. This, if you haven't seen it yet, it's on my channel. Bayley superfan Izzy recently won gold at Punk Pro Wrestling show here in my county. I was there for that. It's actually kind of controversial. I thought it was great. I laughed my ass off. The girl's been training to wrestle. People literally in my comment section were losing their crap over it because she took a choke slam. You can watch it. It was not a hardcore chokeslam, and I had to mention it to some people. You act like The Undertaker or Kane was in there and chokeslammed a 12-year-old girl. And I also had to mention how big-name wrestlers like Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero, the Hart brothers, they were all in the ring at early ages, well before the age of 12 wrestling. So, whatever. Kudos for her. She won her first title. We're going to see her in the WWE in a few years. You know what's going to happen. Yeah, that rumor, I'm not even going to mention this because it was actually a false rumor. Punk's signing meet and greet before All In stretched a quarter of a mile long. He also claimed he was never offered a real deal to show up at All In, which, okay, I like Punk, but he's lying. Because Cody mentioned it a million times. It was released that they gave him a last hour offer, and it was still up in the air whether or not he was going to show up. I actually thought he was going to show up, but he didn't. But I think he's just kind of being an ass about it and probably lying that he said he didn't get a real offer to be at All In. And he's probably kicking himself now that he didn't. But we got Chris Jericho, and that was good enough. And really, if you think about it, even if Jericho wasn't there, it was still a great pay-per-view. It might have even been the best pay-per-view so far this year next to Slammiversary. Plans for All In 2 on the West Coast, possibly in LA. Then the next one overseas, which kind of sucks, man. Come to the South. If it wasn't in Chicago, I was really contemplating going to All In. But I'm glad I didn't because they packed in every inch of that arena. What did they say? They sold out 10,000 seater. The actual end tally of the amount of tickets sold was 11,260 something tickets. And I'm sure there was probably more than that. I mean, if you watched how people were sitting around ringside, did anybody look comfortable? No, they were squishing people in that building. I'm sure people didn't complain. They were at a very cool show, but it didn't look comfortable. Joey Mercury, who was supposed to work All In, was arrested prior to the show. He was found sleeping in his car in the parking lot of the hotel he was staying at. He was recently sent to WWE rehab, which makes me think he was drunk or high or something. You don't pass out in your car in the parking lot where you're staying if you ain't messed up. And he's still supposed to be in jail because he actually had a warrant out for his arrest, I think here in Florida. Yeah, here in Florida. And he doesn't even have enough. He didn't have enough money to bail himself out, and nobody came to get him. So yeah, he does work for Ring of Honor now as a backstage agent, but he was going to work the All In show at the Gorilla position. So he muffed up, and which left the Bucks and Cody scrambling. I think they ended up having to work that position. The main event to All In also had to be shortened because there was an overrun in the Joey Janela Page match. There was an overrun in the Okada Scroll match. There was an overrun in the Omega Pentagon match. The Page match was supposed to have overrun by 18 minutes. The Scroll match, no, that was the Scroll match. The Page match ran over about 12 to 15. They said the Marty Scroll match, people were at ringside screaming at them to end the match, and they kept going and going. It made for a good match. I would not have wanted to change the outcome to the Janela Page match. All the stuff they did, man, you need time to recover. I mean, that was a great match. The Marty Scurll match could have been shorter, but it was still a good match. And that's why we got such a super short main event match. And that match was they said they had so much stuff planned. They said they got all their stuff in, but they had 8 minutes. They even had to beg the cable company provider for an extra minute. That's why it cut out right when the pin happened. They said then the Bucks came out afterwards when the Bullet Club usually comes out at the end of every show. They do house show or whatnot, and they talk to the crowd. They said they made the 1 minute deadline by 3 seconds, or they would have been fined. And they promised there was going to be an All In 2. Cody grabbed the mic, and I've heard him say it on YouTube videos. He says the Bullet Club is staying together and they're not going anywhere. I just watched the 10 Pounds of Gold series, the NWA thing, just last night, and Cody was playing it up. He said in January he's going to be a free agent and it's going to make wrestling interesting. I think that's just a play just to see money offers, but I hope they don't go back, especially him. I hope he doesn't go back to the WWE, at least not yet. He said it in the ring. The Bucks were there. Omega was there. Even Omega played very coy with media when asked about if he was going to the WWE. So I don't know. It would be great if they all stick together. Like I said, if the Bucks go and Cody, they're going to have to shut down all of their merchandise operations like what they did to the Hardys, and that's one of their big money makers. Is the WWE going to match that? I don't think so. But let me see. Let me get back to where I was supposed to be. Nia Jax challenges Hall of Famer Beth Phoenix, and Natalie Neidhart versus her. I should say Nia Jax and Tamina challenge Hall of Famer Beth Phoenix and Natalia for a tag team match at Evolution. Why did I skip over that? Pro Wrestling Tees sold $500,000 over the All In weekend. The All In gate tally. Oh, I already said that. Pentagon Jr. shoots down the recent rumors that he and his brother are WWE bound. He says he is committed to MLW and Lucha. I already knew Lucha Underground. He's signed to them for 2 more seasons. But he says he will be free by the end of 2019. I don't know how old he is. I don't know if the WWE will still be interested in him. It's going to be probably based on how big his matches continue to be throughout the next year and a half. Andrew Everett asked for his release from Impact. To me, he reminded me of a young Seth Rollins. He was a part of the Helms dynasty. If you don't remember that, they turned on Helms and formed the tag team. I can't remember if they won the titles. I know he won the tag team titles recently at a taping with DJE and lost them at the same taping, getting steamrolled by LAX, which I didn't really think needed to happen right away. He had a lot of potential. He's asked for, and he is the boyfriend of Rosemary, which is very interesting because they always traveled together, just like Allie always traveled with her husband. I just said his name in my head and I can't remember it. Stockton. He was involved in that wedding angle. Jeez. I can't think of his name. I can't even think of the people. With Michael Bennett and Maria about a year or so ago. WWE and Impact officials recently met at WWE headquarters. What was this meeting about? Well, it wasn't about the purchase of Impact Wrestling or the videotape library. So maybe this is some sort of meeting for future collaborations. I don't know why. They seem to have signed everybody they wanted from Impact, but Impact did kind of restock their roster, but they still wouldn't get Pentagon or Phoenix. They might get their hands on Brian Cage. Maybe Moose. Moose did turn down NXT in the last couple of years. So I'm sure we'll figure out the purpose of the meeting coming up. WWE announces a new pay-per-view called Crown Jewel, which will be in the next pay-per-view in Saudi Arabia. The state that's so progressive that they recently arrested a man and beat him in jail because he dared to have breakfast with a woman out in public. That'll be another pay-per-view that the women aren't at, and I'm sure that's the whole reason why the Women's Evolution pay-per-view came to be, because of the first pay-per-view where all the women had to stay home and not collect all that big payday money that was being filtered about. Two of the matches already announced are Lesnar versus Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman for the WWE title. Brock Lesnar is rumored to get upwards to $7 million for his appearance. I'm sure that's why he's back. And DX versus the Brothers of Destruction, which means HBK, I respect the business, and I'm not coming out of retirement. He's coming out of retirement, folks, because he's getting a shit ton of money to do it. So much for his morals and standards, right? Judge in Connecticut recently throws out the lawsuit against the WWE with that whole list of wrestlers and wrestlers' wives and mothers and everybody else who was suing them, blaming their concussions or their deaths on the WWE. So I'm just wondering now if the WWE will be able to make figures out of most of these guys. And I find it funny because I guarantee you a lot of these guys, except for maybe Demolition, will probably sign Legends contracts now with the company. This one kind of bugs me too. WWE recently, it must have just happened because this guy, when did I go? What was my last show? He wasn't at Friday's show. He was at Thursday and the Thursday's NXT house shows that I was at. Mahabali Shira from Impact. I can't even tell you what his NXT name was. This guy really put in the work. You can go on my channel right now, watch the NXT Dade video and the NXT Crystal River, the last recent ones. You can see how big and jacked this guy got. And he looks... In my head, I said he looked like a He-Man action figure from back in the day. I know why they fired him, because the WWE recently signed a bunch of people from India, so they don't need their token Indian guy anymore, and that's one of the reasons why they signed the guy. But I mean, he is way better than that guy, the guy from India, the $1 Million Arm guy, the guy that has the Disney movie. He's been on the last few of my NXT videos as well. He looks like the shits in the ring. But yeah, Mahabali was recently released, and I think it's a shame. I knew it looked bad in my eyes because he's been with the company for probably a year, if not more. And only recently they started putting him on house shows. I don't think he ever made TV. He never got the superstar status of him sitting in the ring or out in the crowd for an NXT show being introduced. But no, he was always working security, which I thought was weird. This guy's been wrestling for like 7 years, and he's doing the rookie stuff that the new signees and the overseas signees get and stuff. Or the new people to NXT, he was doing like ring work and security. I don't know. So I feel bad for him. I don't know if Impact will pick him back up. You never know. He was one of the reasons they brought him in. He was part of the Raka King back in the day when Jarrett was trying to start another company in India. I don't know why. But he was signed after that. He was going to be the big star for the company, the Indian star, because one of their big money payouts for Impact is, I can't think of the name of the station in India. That's their number one revenue source. And he was supposed to be their big star. Glow scores 2 Emmys for outstanding stunt coordination and production design. Glow, if you are unaware of, that's the Netflix show that is based off the 80s female wrestling federation, Glow. I can't think of her name right now. What was her name? She was kind of an old... she was one of the older women, like with Jackie and stuff, when she was in the WWE. What was her name? But anyways, that's where she got her start. But who's on the show? Awesome Kong is on the show. I've never seen it, but yeah, they won 2 Emmys last night. That's it for now. Like I said, I just wanted to get a news video out, get something out. because I don't know, I haven't been on in the last couple days, and now I'm just getting a big brain fart. But that's it for now, guys. That was the news. Hit like, leave. Oh, I've had a nice uptick of new subscribers in the last week and a half or so. So welcome to the new people to the channel. I don't have any NXT shows coming up for at least another month. The next video I do is probably going to be a crate box. That should be coming here. I have 2 on the way. 2 different boxes coming here this week. So that should definitely be on the radar. And I really should be doing an unboxing video here. But anyway, guys, hit like, leave a comment, subscribe. Hit that notification button for future content, all that good stuff. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter. I really should make a Facebook to get more eyeballs on the channel, but I'm lazy. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time. Mad Viking out. Peace.